Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, who's Kilt-Man's favourite monster? Yeah. The Wolfman. Or mainly, werewolves in general are my favourite monsters. So for new viewers, that's the thing that floats Kilt-Man's boat. Big, hairy, rampaging, fang-faced bastards. I loves them, I does. And I prefer them to be walking upright rather than on all fours. I've said this many times, your Wolfman, in my sort of theorising about the whole lycanthropic debate, your Wolfman walks on two legs and has the vestiges of a human face, which I think's more terrifying than a four-legged beast, which is just a four-legged beast, like a dog, like a wolf, yeah? Like a bear on all fours, although the bear can do both things. Your grizzly bear can stand on its hind legs and tower above you. Oh, that's even worse. A werebear is going to be the scariest, ferocious beast ever. Anyway, why am I talking about all this? Because there's a new werewolf movie in development. Ooh, and I get very excited when I hear this sort of news. Now, already, we've had a werewolf movie this year already, which I've reviewed. Larry Fessenden's great, quirky, off-kilter, offbeat indie movie, Blackout. Not everyone's cup of tea, I know, but I personally loved it. And we've got Lee Whannell's updating of The Wolfman, the original 1941, Lon Chaney Jr. as The Wolfman. We've got an updated, modernised version of that coming October time, Halloween time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And we've had a few others as well, sort of in the last couple of years. You had that thing, The Cursed, which 18th century murder mystery, whodunit type thing. But the werewolves in that, and they are werewolves, are sort of hairless and very pale. And although the film has oodles of atmosphere, I found it severely lacking in bite. And I don't rave about it at all. But it is very popular, though. People do talk about it quite a bit. Late phases with the great Nick D'Amici from a few years ago. Oh, the blind war veteran with his seeing eye dog, his German Shepherd, who sadly doesn't last beyond the first few scenes because the werewolf in the retirement home takes his dog out. But he's a tough as nails, tough as old boots war veteran, this guy. And he knows it's a werewolf out there. And he spends the next month leading up to the next full moon preparing himself, defending his house, defending his territory from what becomes a pack of werewolves. And I have reviewed the movie and I think it's absolutely outstanding. So I do recommend that. Late Phases. And I recommend Blackout as well. But, so what's this new one then? Well, as my thumbnail and the whole title of this video will have told you, Pierce Brosnan is set to star in a werewolf hunting adventure action horror drama in 2025. Directed by his son Sean. Sean Brosnan is directing this. Now, Sean Brosnan is this is only his second movie. He did one called My Father Die back in 2016. That's not My Father Die as in, Die Evans, the Welsh name, Die, look you, Lilies of the Valley, no, it's Die as in dead, and it's an action thriller which I had not heard of until this news broke about him doing this werewolf movie. And it's not a trailer. If you go on YouTube, this thing you're on right now, you will also find that there is something that purports to be a trailer for this movie. It isn't. It's just what I presume to be Sean Brosnan and somebody else traipsing through the woodlands of the UK, for it is being filmed in the UK. Interesting, very interesting. And it's basically just someone sort of automatically reading out sort of press blurb and some kind of half-arsed, synopsis. That's all you get. So it's not a trailer. Don't go thinking it's a trailer. It ain't, because nothing's been filmed yet. They hope to begin filming later this year in the UK. And the film is called Wolfland. I don't like that title actually. I don't know, Wolfland, it's all one word. I don't like the title. But hey, so what, you know? Pierce Brosnan in a horror movie. Has he ever done a horror movie before? No, Dante's Peak does not count. No. This is Remington Steele. This is 007. I only actually liked the first of his tenure as 007. I like Pierce Brosnan. I think he's a good actor. He's very personal, very charismatic, and apparently he's playing a grizzled old werewolf hunter in this. Okay, look. I'll tell you more. I'll read out some of the stuff about this that we know. This is from Fangoria magazine. Right, okay, let's just see. Well, actually, they're quoting Variety. Yeah, Variety have described the film as thus. Described as an epic odyssey, Wolfland follows a young teenager who, when his sister is viciously attacked and showing signs of a transformation, leaves his small village in search of a legendary werewolf hunter who can reverse the gruesome curse. When he finds the legend, Devlin, presumably that is Pierce Brosnan, slumped against the bar and in no mood for ghost stories, Devlin takes the kid's money and agrees to hunt down this phantom monster, only to find themselves in a deadly whirlwind of carnage. That's very badly written, that, by the way. That's really bad English, bad grammar, all the way through. So yeah, his sister Lily, I know a bit more from, this doesn't tell you a lot of detail, I know a bit more about it. His sister's called Lily and the young teen is called Evan. Young teen? That kind of puts it in, already you're thinking PG-13? Oh no. Hold your taters, because there's more, which I'll come on to. But young teen, However, young teens and werewolves, it's happened before. Silver Bullet, the awesome 80s werewolf movie, Silver Bullet, which I have reviewed as well. An adaptation of Stephen King's Cycle of the Werewolf novella, which if you get the illustrated version, the illustrations are by the great Bernie Wrightson, horror guru illustrator extraordinaire. It's well recommended. And the film Silver Bullet is wonderful. So you know that a young teen can go against a bloodthirsty werewolf in the movies. It can work. Although I don't like that synopsis. And it's kind of like, so his sister's been attacked and is showing signs of a transformation. So he leaves his small village in search of this legendary werewolf hunter, which we are presuming is Pierce Brosnan. It's got to be, hasn't it? So, right, and they find themselves in a deadly whirlwind of carnage. Now, what it doesn't say there, but I know, is that apparently en route to finding this guy, I think the young teen and his sister encounter a pack of werewolves, and the game of cat and mouse, hunt me, push you, shove you, bite you, takes place. And then they're going to get this guy who's going to come out, all guns blazing, lots of silver bullets presumably, and maybe silver-headed walking sticks like this one you see here from the Wolfman. Right, Fangoria goes on with they kind of labour this, but they kind of really, this is going to be great. All of that sounds like it could be a lot of fun, particularly if Brosnan's playing the boozy monster hunter. But Wolfland will also feature effects work from one of the best studios in the business. Okay, what do we love about werewolf movies, apart from blood, guts and carnage? We love transformations, we love the practical effects, we love the makeup. Going back from Werewolf of London, the original Werewolf of London, with Henry Holt playing said Werewolf of London, with Jack P. Pierce doing the makeup, and then Jack P. Pierce went on to doing Lon Chaney Jr.'s makeup for the Wolfman, and the subsequent Wolfman movies, Frankenstein meets Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, blah 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 blah, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, because he's in all of those. The yak hair, and in fact he's there. I've just realised he's right behind me, right there. There you are. covered in yak hair. And in fact, a little bit of my hair as well. Because yes, it blends in. But then you get, of course, Oliver Reed, David Rintoul for Hammer and for Tyburn movies, Kirsten Welch, Legend of the Werewolf. And you get many, many other werewolf movies, obviously. But the real zeitgeist is 1981. The Howling, there. And American Werewolf in London, over there. With Rob Bottin doing the effects for this and Rick Baker doing the effects for that. Now, I've talked about those movies ad infinitum and the fact that Rick Baker was doing The Howling, but then had to jump ship for a promise and an oath he made to John Landis to come aboard American Werewolf. But he had trained Rob Bottin, his young protege, in how to do the stretcho heads, the elongating bones and fingers, and in-camera practical effects, transformations of a live human being into a beast. But in The Howling, walks upright. In American Werewolf, it's just a great big dog. But he trained Rob Bottin, and The Howling came out first. But everyone raves about the transformation in American Werewolf, and rightly so, winning Rick Baker an Oscar, and justifiably. But as I've said so many times, I prefer the transformation in this because it's scarier, and the fact that Eddie Quist, Robert Picardo playing Eddie Quist, and his transformation right before the very eyes of the ever delectable Dee Wallace. He's doing it. She's trapped there. But he's doing it and he's showing off what he can do. Look at this. And he's getting bigger, stronger. He's stretching higher. His snout's coming out. His chest is getting bigger. And it's fantastic. And it's a dark room and it's at night. But my God, that's terrifying because you've got a witness and a victim right in front of him. And he's showing off because he loves it. The transformation in that is different because it's in a well-lit room. And it's a guy that you sympathise with, and he doesn't want to be a monster. He hasn't believed his dead friend coming back to tell him, next full moon, you'll change. You'll become a monster. You'll kill. You'll make more people like me. I'm not having a good time here. You ever talk to a corpse? It's boring. It's a different kettle of fish. It's a terrifying sequence, to be fair. And because, you do witness humanity. Humanity has left the building. And you've got this huge ravenous beast. But John Landis, again, even to this day, he says, I showed the wolf too much. No, John, you didn't show it enough. What you showed was tantalising, was great. When you see it after Bringsley on the subway, the London Underground, when he falls on the escalator and he can't run any further, and the long shot at the top of the escalator looking down past Gerald Bringsley, and the wolf comes lumbering out, the size of a fucking grizzly bear. Now, he wanted to cut that scene down even more. You only see a split second of that, and from a distance. The rampage in Piccadilly Circus. You've got the werewolf on all fours, charging through, snapping at people left, right, and centre. It's ripped the head off the detective superintendent's shoulders, which has bounced off the hood of the car and all that, like. And he's causing chaos on the streets. Double deckers are overturning and people are getting crushed under cars. It's absolute chaos, carnage. But if you see the outtakes, Rick Baker is operating the big wolf. So its legs are moving and it's snapping at people. If you see the long shots of it, you see its back legs are moving as well. The reason why you don't see it in the finished movie, well, John Landis didn't want to show the wolf too much, but it was also very, very complicated. It's on a wheelbarrow. Now, if Rick Baker had got inside an entire suit and with a trolley underneath him and his back legs working the back legs, his back legs, his only legs operating the back legs of the beast and his arms and the front legs, that could have been great, but they weren't able to do that. But those outtakes, those deleted scenes of the big beast are phenomenal, really, really good. But you never got it. So what I'm saying is, practical effects are great. What have you just heard there, right? He said something like, hang on. Oh, Fangoria says, Wolfland will also feature effects work from one of the best studios in the business. and then Variety will pick up the stick. The film is being produced by Marcus Warren for Light Sound Frequency and Christian Moore for the Consortium, with Imaginarium Studios, which were founded by Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis, the monarch of mocap. Yes. Gollum, King Kong, Caesar the Ape, and probably other creatures I can't remember right now, from motion capture and facial capture. And he founded Imaginarium Studios, so founded by Andy Serkis, providing creature design and effects. The Exchange is executive producing and handling worldwide sales at the March du Film in Cannes, with the shoot expected to start later this year in the UK. The March du Film in Cannes is where you hawk your movies, you pitch your movies, you have little fake trailers, you have posters, you might have someone you intend to be in the movie, but you haven't done anything yet because you're trying to get financing for it. So that's what they've done there. But let's just think about that. Imaginarium Studios. They've done many movies, but what do? It's mocap, it's visual effects. It's not prosthetic stuff. It is not change-o heads and latex. It's not that. It is mocap. So already, we're now, straight away, alarm bells are ringing in my head, because you had the Wolfman remake, which was brilliant. Steve Johnson, I loved it. 2010, was it? Or was it a bit earlier? I've discussed it a lot. I've got masks and stuff from it, and I do love it, but it is a badly flawed film at the same time. But it's super, super enjoyable. Who did the effects for that? Rick Baker. They brought Rick Baker back to do another werewolf movie, decades after him doing American Werewolf. And he did Wolf as well for Mike Nichols. He turned Jack Nicholson into a wolf. Jack Nicholson doesn't need any makeup to be feral and ferocious and lupine. Just them eyebrows and that grin already sets him off, which is why he didn't do a great deal on it. He had James Spader in there as well, and he gave him like a sort of Cro-Magnon fod, eyebrows meeting in the middle, and an underbite. But again, very minimal makeup, but it still was great. I have reviewed Wolf as well. But the remake of the Wolfman, Rick Baker was brought on to do the transformations and the makeup effects for Benicio del Toro playing the Wolfman. And he does look fantastic in his full makeup. Looks brilliant, and it is a reworking of the Lon Chaney, Jack P. Pierce makeup design. Looks phenomenal. But he did the transformation the way that Rick Baker does transformations. Real, practical, in camera, but with modern technology. But no, after viewing that, what did they go and do? They took out all of his footage and did it with CG. And the resulting transformation, apart from the eyes suddenly becoming, they sort of swell around and become these sort of feral, beastly eyes. I like that. But the rest of it is done super quick and super smooth, and it's like, what? We all remember An American Werewolf in Paris, the horrific sequel to American Werewolf in London, which should never have been made, should never have happened. And the thing about that as well, they used CG, horrible early doors CG. It was wretchedly bad. But even if it had been great, the film was still shite anyway and shoddy as hell. But again, with that, they had original design work, which was meant to be practical and prosthetic effects. And again, at the last minute, they pulled that because, everyone uses CG now. So they used, this really horrible, blecky, horrible CG. So the film was a complete turd. So this sadly reminds me of the debacle of the transformations in the Wolfman remake and American Werewolf in Paris. Oh dear God. Now mocap's fantastic. Look, Gollum is one of the most realistic creatures who's not actually there, which actors have got to interact with, although it's just Andy Serkis with a lot of dots on a scuba suit, Yeah, it can look brilliant, it can, but where's the practical effects? Who's the studio's going to handle that? Now, there might be one. They haven't said. So anyway, let's go. Fangoria do this thing. After I've just quoted to you there. Yes, Werewolves, designed by Andy Serkis' Imaginarium Studios. Hell, even if you aren't a typical fan of werewolf movies, you've got to be excited about seeing that, right? look, it's just because it's mocap, and I'm just thinking, oh, really? I want somebody in a great big suit. That's what I want to see. And maybe you will. I don't know. Let's see what Pierce Brosnan has to say about working with his father on a movie like this. So this is from the director and Pierce Brosnan's son. I am excited to be working with Pierce, otherwise known as Daddy, on a film that aims to redefine the werewolf subgenre. With the amazing special effects talents at Imaginarium, we'll craft a werewolf transformation set to rival the iconic scenes from An American Werewolf in London. And, get on this, we're thrilled about the potential impact of an expanding Wolfland universe. Let's break it down, Kilt-Man. Let's break it down. Cheers, y'all. Excited to be working with his dad. Yeah, that's great. And the fact that his dad wants to work with him as well on a werewolf movie of all things. Yeah, that's brilliant. I like that. That aims to redefine the werewolf subgenre. Don't make sweeping things like that, sweeping statements. You can aim to redefine it, but it's this sort of egotistical, almost arrogance. We aim to redefine the werewolf subgenre. Does the werewolf subgenre need redefining? You've had the werewolf genre, and there's been a lot of dross. There has been. It's not the most successful of genres, as movie critics and genre aficionados are keen to tell you. And yet, it's got absolute classics, masterpieces in there. And even a lot of the people with term as clunkers, I've loved, for various other reasons. I love the genre, and you've had every type of thing. What was that one with Mario Van Peebles in it, where Fully Clips, where you had a team of almost special forces elite coppers in America who were werewolves. God almighty. You've had every type of werewolf movie has been made. So redefining it, I look forward to seeing how you're going to do that. Will it redefine it? I don't think so, because it's been redefined a million times already. With the amazing special effects talents at Imaginarium, we'll craft a werewolf transformation set to rival the iconic scenes from American Werewolf in London. Really, look, that is the most ridiculous statement to come out with. That's bad. If I was making a werewolf movie, I would not say things like that. You've got the purists who are never going to accept that. That is the pinnacle, as many people say. American Werewolf in London, Rick Baker's effects, the transformation, nothing's going to beat that. It's in camera, it's there, it's happening, it's tangible. Your brain can accept that. Your eyes and your brain make that connection. That's happening. CG, motion capture, it's not CG, but you've got a person there, but you little dots, and then you're going to computer map onto that. Well, it is CG, isn't it? It's going to be created artificially. And that's going to, you think that's going to rival what we saw before with the likes of The Howling? I know he doesn't mention that. The Howling and American Werewolf. Good luck with that, Sean. Good luck with that. I think you're punching way above your weight there. That you can't make that kind of statement. You haven't even begun to make the film yet. You haven't begun filming it. We're thrilled, and this is the other thing, we're thrilled about the potential impact of an expanding Wolfland universe. You haven't begun to make the film. You haven't done any of the effects yet. You're already thinking about an expanded universe for this. So sequels, sidequels, an ongoing franchise. I admire anyone thinking big and being ambitious. Of course. But you should be like that. But you should keep that in here and with your production team and your writers. Keep it with them. Don't tell the world that. You haven't made the fucking film. The film could be a complete and utter turd. And then you look like a right idiot having said, looking forward to the potential of expanding our Wolfland universe. That does mean sequels. Of course it does. A Marvel universe, the DC universe, the fucking whatever universe, the Meg universe, whatever. You can't come out with shit like that right now. You've got one film behind you, which massive movie buff that I am, I'd never heard of. Never. So, folks, I know it sounds the opposite, but I'm looking forward to this. I want this to be great. Of course I do. I don't ever want things to fail. I want things to be successful and be great. I want to enjoy them and sit here and talk, wax lyrical about any of these movies, especially a werewolf movie. God, I'm on side. But don't say things like that. That is super, super arrogant and egotistical. And you're setting yourself up for a fall. Your transformation, my God, if that's going to rival American Werewolf in people's imaginations, well, then I will prostrate myself before you, and I will drink rainwater from a wolf's paw print. That's one of the ways in old folklore where you're meant to be able to take on the curse of lycanthropy. Because believe it or not, a lot of people actually wanted to be werewolves back in those dark medieval days. And why not? Harking back to Eddie Quist from The Howling. He's fucking made up as a werewolf. He's showing off what he can do. And I like that. That's the whole thing. If you had those powers to become this ravenous, monstrously big, powerful beast, which, men will fear, and no one can take you down, apart from bloody Silver Bullets. And Silver Bullets, folks, it was Kurt Siodmak who wrote the screenplay for 1941's The Wolfman. This guy. He came up with that. That's not in folklore, it's not in legend. Silver has nothing to do with the werewolf mythos. Only Hollywood brought that in. And the full moon as well. The full moon had nothing to do with their werewolf transformations at all. That was Hollywood again. But we love it. We love this sort of stuff. And I love it too. Doesn't mention that's going to be the case in this particular movie. But so, does Silver play a part? Bullets. You've got a hunter, which we are presuming is Pierce Brosnan's character, Victor Devlin. Didn't Pierce Brosnan play in a character called Devlin way back? No, it was Taffin, wasn't it? That again, it was a moody, atmospheric thriller way back in I think it was the 80s. Taffin. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Pierce and Sean, by the way. I'm not knocking you two. Just don't say things like that. So, what else did it say here? This is again Fangoria speaking now. Invoking the name of American Werewolf in London and saying that your film will rival the transformation sequences in that movie, which are still considered among the very best ever committed to film, is quite a bold statement. Maybe I should have read that before I ranted off there. Many have tried over the years, but few werewolf joints ever reach those delirious highs. What the hell does that mean? Many have tried over the years, but few werewolf joints have ever reached those delirious highs. Oh, what a buffoon I am. I don't smoke spliffs, I don't do joints. Werewolf joints ever reached those delirious highs. God, Jesus. Here's hoping that Brosnan and company are able to pull it off. And there's nothing else to report on it there, of course. Folks, yeah, I'm excited about this. I know it sounds like I've just been taking the piss. And I have. But it's only for the stupid quotes like that, which really that doesn't sell anything. Saying, we're going to rival the best. You haven't even begun to make the film yet, so you can't make those bold, sweeping statements. Wait till you see what you've actually got. And then show us a trailer, show us some footage, some imagery. Then you might come on board. But I like the idea of Pierce Brosnan. He's not one of my favourite actors. He never has been. But I do like him in movies. I like him as a person. I like seeing him on screen. So him, as a grizzled old alcoholic, burnt out. I'm adding things here. But they find him slumped against the bar. So you can kind of tell that. So is he like Quint? A Quint style but werewolf hunter? I might imagine that. Quint as a werewolf hunter. American Werewolf slammed 2 fangs into my side, Chief. It's coming back from the slaughtered lamb to East Proctor. I'll never werewolf bane again. Is he going to be in that style? that could be great. And, you know, I do like Pierce Brosnan, so I want to see him grizzled, I want to see him with long hair, I want to see him like he's been burnt out, he's seen too much. But it does say, doesn't it, that he can reverse the curse on the sister. Now, it is being filmed in the UK. Now, again, with that doesn't necessarily mean it's set in the UK. A lot of stuff gets filmed here. Look at The Batman. It was filmed in Liverpool and Glasgow. But it's set in Gotham, of course. And so other stuff has been filmed here as well. But, so the footage I've seen of Sean Brosnan, I think it's Sean Brosnan anyway, they're out tramping in the woods in the UK. So obviously scouting locations. He leaves the young teen. How young is he? Again, you know, I shouldn't be knocking that because it worked in Silver Bullet. And Silver Bullet was scary, was gory, and was excellent. But you had Gary Busey in there as well. You know, for God's sake. And Everett McGill playing the priest who happens to be the werewolf. Oh, spoiler alert. Oops-a-daisy. And it is gory, it is super nasty, and I love the film to bits. Fabulous film. So that can work. It's when you bring teens in. So his sister's been attacked, right? So we know that. And she has obviously survived, but now the bite is on her. So obviously that part of the mythology, the bite, when you survive it, you become one. Like the bite of a vampire will turn you into a vampire. And of course, George Romero nicked all that. The bite of a zombie that doesn't actually end up eating you entirely will turn you into a zombie. So I love that contagion thing, that sort of plague aspect to these things. You don't get a plague of werewolves though. Now, a deadly whirlwind of carnage. Well, that sounds fantastic, doesn't it? But let's hope. And again, with a kid being involved, see, when it's saying young teen, I'm thinking way too young. Now, you've had very many gory, violent British werewolf movies. Dog Soldiers being right up there. Dog Soldiers, awesome film. But you also had, again, involving a hunter, The Beast Must Die. Regular viewers know that's the film that, if I ever could remake a movie, Amicus is The Beast Must Die from 1974 with Calvin Lockhart and Michael Gambon, Peter Cushing. Is the one I want to do, and I would do it in a vastly different way. I mean, I have written a fair bit of that, but I did that years ago. I should return to it, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, but we've done British werewolf movies: Curse of the Werewolf for Hammer, Legend of the Werewolf for Tyburn. Great movies. Well, Legend not so great, but it's enjoyable. And Dog Soldiers, I say, fucking right up there. So British made, British starring by the sound of things, and certainly filmed in the UK. Look at American Werewolf. American Werewolf itself is 98% British. Almost all the cast, apart from Griffin Dunn and God, what's his name? Oh my God, David Norton, who plays David the werewolf, the Kessler Wolf. They're the only Yanks in it. Oh, and Frank Oz. Oh, of course, Frank Oz is in there too. You know, as the guy from the embassy, the American embassy. Forgot about him. And you do see the Muppets in there. I know, okay. But the vast majority of the cast are British, and it's entirely set in the UK. So, you know, you've got a pedigree of the UK being great for lycanthropy. So that can work. But what I'm saying is, like, just because they're filming it here doesn't actually mean it's set here. Doesn't mean that. It could be set in Ireland. You've got Pierce Brosnan there, a famed Irishman. But it could be set in Europe at the same time, you know. Or even it could be America. But to keep the budget down, they're filming it here, quite clearly. Also, it doesn't say that filming begins in the UK. Doesn't mean they're not going to move somewhere else to carry on filming. They could do. Carry on filming. There's a film that Sid James could have really got his his little curly noggin stuck into. Yeah. Carry On Lycanthropy. Oh, imagine it. They did Carry On Scream, Carry On Howling. Oh, wow. Oh, imagine that. But you had Oddbod and Oddbod Jr. in Carry On Screaming, and the luscious Fenella Fielding. Oh my God. Carry On Screaming is one of the best. I mentioned Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is a great horror comedy and massively revered by monster kids for many generations and universal horror fans, because it is excellent. But Carry On Screaming and Young Frankenstein and even The American Werewolf are the best horror comedies ever. So, but yeah, this could work, folks. This could be great. I have took the piss. I understand. I realise that. But I want to see how this progresses. And I long to be sitting here and going, this film fucking kicks ass. Yeah, he's right. In what he said, his ambitious claims are actually true. He stuck to his word, and my God, he delivered. I hope so. Sean, if you ever see this little video, and you didn't turn it off when I was ranting before, I wish you all the best. Good luck, really good luck. I hope this works. And I hope I'm wrong in my assumptions that by bigging up Imaginarium, that it isn't just mocap and CG, that it is going to be incredible practical effects as well. Let's keep the gore practical. We don't want. I love 300 and its splashy CG gore sprays everywhere. I do love that because it's hyper stylized the entire film, and its prequel, in fact. Its prequel, sidequel. 300 Rise of an Empire is a sequel and a prequel and a sidequel as well. But the way that they're done is pure CG backgrounds and it's comic book stuff. But that's the style, and that works. You throw CG and copious mocap into a film that's otherwise hyper realistic, real location work and real characters, real people there. It has the tendency to stick out a mile. But who knows? Who knows? But folks, it's another werewolf movie. Yes! Yes! Oh God, I wish the Carry On team had done Carry On Howling now. Oh God. Imagine that. That'd be so great. Bernard Breslow being the big fucking werewolf. And speaking of big werewolves like Eddie Quist, I know, like, I spend a lot of time denouncing remakes, reboots, retweaks, reimaginings, sidequels, prequels, sequels. I know I do. Having just raved about a prequel to Fury Road with Furiosa and Mad Max Saga, which is fucking it's a masterpiece. I love that movie. But you know, the vast majority of them do stink, but there's still many that are great, and this is from a guy that wants to remake The Beast Must Die. But mine would be vastly different. But the basic concept would be the same, because it can be updated. It's a story that can be updated. Yeah. The Howling again. One of the things that I love about The Howling, Joe Dante, 1981, and again, it is very, you can't call it a horror comedy. It is very funny in places. There's a lot of visual sort of tricks and cameos which are amusing to us movie aficionados, especially the werewolf genre, because he piled it all in there. And it is darkly comic at the same time. It's almost satirical in a way. But there's an element there which is genuinely horrific, and I'd love to have seen a version, or maybe even like, again, a prequel. Oh, see, I'm contradicting myself something chronic, aren't I? Eddie Quist, Robert Picardo's character, is known as the Mangler, and in LA he's been a reign of terror. Young women have been found butchered and half-eaten, and that's how he gets to meet Dee Wallace, who's a TV journalist who has been covering his reign of terror, and he wants to meet her because he's fixated on her, and that starts the whole movie going. But he gets killed in it. The cops shoot him. One of the cops, of course, is Kenneth Tobey from The Thing from Another World. Yes, Kenneth Tobey. Captain Hendry from another classic. There is, you can't see it because the Howling's in the way. There's a canvas up there somewhere from the original Thing from Another World, which I've, again, reviewed. I've done a commentary for it as well. I've done a commentary for American Werewolf in London, if any of you want to bother looking. But I'd love to see that, his rise to infamy, because he enjoys being that. It would be, imagine this, if you will, a werewolf take on Lucio Fulci's The New York Ripper, which is one of the most savage, barbarous, horrendously violent movies. But it'd be a werewolf doing those horrible killings, because you see black and white, jittery, flickery footage on TV screens of bodies lying on the deck and like cops standing around with the sheet over the body, and it hints at real nasty depravity. God, I'd love to see that, because the Eddie Quist character, he's wonderful for a really nasty bastard, but that's the hallmarks of a great horror movie, is there. So if anyone has any ideas of doing, let's do a prequel to The Howling, well, there's your idea, and that could be done. I mean, how many prequels are we getting now? The First Omen, for fucking hell's sake. But what they tried to do there, and I've covered that as well, what they tried to do, and I loved the movie, I thought it was great, until they rewrote the original Omen trilogy. We're actually not going to, we're going to bleed into the First Omen from 1976. We're going to bleed into that one, but we're going to tell, but we're going off on a slight tangent, because they change the characters, they change the idea, they change too much. Listen to me, I go on too much. Cheers, y'all. I just wanted to bring this to your attention anyway, because I'm excited about this. Any werewolf movie, I'm excited by. And apparently there's one which gets mentioned, which again I've never heard of, which Fangoria does mention here. Last year I saw the arrival of Jacqueline Castell's My Animal. That's the movie title, My Animal. And astonishing, Fangoria's not off, blowing smoke up people's asses here. An astonishingly cool movie that combines the weightlifting and lesbianism of Love Lies Bleeding. That's a bizarre movie, that, Love Lies Bleeding, with a generous helping of lycanthrope horror. My Animal, I've never heard of it, although I have looked into it. And instead of weightlifting, I think it's figure skating and lesbianism. Hey, and werewolves. Okay, I'm in. There's a hint of ginger snaps there, isn't it? And the cast. That's Wes Craven's Cast. There's a lot of werewolf movies, isn't there? Jason Momoa made one as well called Wolves, and it wasn't very good. It literally wasn't very good. It could have been great actually, but no, said it wasn't. Another one called Skinwalkers. Again, we're going back a fair bit now, but it's a film that no one ever talks about. So the idea of like having not so much gangs but packs of rival werewolves, they could be absolute bastards when they're humans, but then they can turn into really nasty fucking ravenous beasts as well. And there's like sort of rivalry taking place. I kind of like that. I do. And there's definitely a pack of werewolves in this. Well, I say definitely. The other stuff I'd seen and read, there's a pack of werewolves in it. So action, adventure and horror with Pierce Brosnan. Okay. Can you imagine if Pierce Brosnan gets bit and he turns into one? That could be great. Sean, have I preempted your screenplay there, sir? I don't know. I think they'd be missing a trick there. Turn Pierce Brosnan into a werewolf. Let's do it. Already, I've reported on this. There is a version of the Werewolf story, it's just called Grendel, based on an old novella. And they're turning Jeff Bridges into Grendel, the troll, with his hag witch of a mother living in the fells, the swamps of Denmark. Yeah, so, okay, I want to see Pierce Brosnan turn into a werewolf. That'd be great. Shove that up your mamma mia, Cheers, folks. Let me know what you think about this, and comment below. Let me know. It's a at the end of the day, it's another werewolf movie, and it could be great. I just don't like stupid, bold statements like that, which you're overselling yourself when you haven't got a proven track record. One movie behind you, one movie, which I hadn't heard of. If you did, fine, and you like it, fine, it's great. But I don't know it at all. He's got a load of kids, Pierce Brosnan. I know he has, like, but I've never heard of Sean Brosnan either. And apparently he's an actor as well. He's been in other stuff, but maybe he's going to star in this too. I don't know. But I wish him all the best, and I hope this is going to be a great addition to the fanged-faced, ferocious film canon of carnage. So anyway, folks, I have been watching Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, in this let's go hunting werewolves in between time, please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all, yeah, including you and you. I'm going to see you all. Full moon or not, I'm a hairy, ferocious bastard, 24/7. Hey!